Welcome back, Phobia fans. This is Planet Phobia. Today we will be looking at another 5 phobias. So I hope you're having a wonderful day and keeping those phobias at bay. Let's get into it. Sebophobia, the fear of food. The name for this phobia comes from sebos or cetos, which is Greek for bread. Sebophobia is associated and mistaken for anorexia, bulimia, and other eating disorders. However, it is related to psychopathology, the study of mental illness or disorder, and it is a food aversion phobia. This mostly affects teens and young adults. It can stem from having choked or vomited while eating or drinking. This can be understandable if you've ever had the experience, but these phobics hang on to the experience long term. Every time they feel hungry, the thought of the bad eating experience floods their thoughts and food becomes a major turnoff. A specific response to this phobia is triggered by perishable foods. Someone ate food that has gone bad and now can't shake the feeling that all food will give them the same bad eating experience. Also, some phobics have received bad news while eating. Whatever unsavory event which happened while eating is remembered before mealtime and creates anxiety towards the food. There can be some profound symptoms related to sebophobia. They include being hypervigilant on how the food is prepared and constantly checking expiration dates to make sure the food hasn't expired. Nutritional deficiencies and the health problems associated with them. We all need food to survive. The vitamins and minerals our nutritional needs need to be met for us to live healthy lives. That makes this a very difficult phobia to live with. Phasmophobia, fear of ghosts. Name origin, phasmos, Greek for supernatural being or phantom. This is also known as spectrophobia, the fear of specters or reflection. This is a very popular phobia. I'm sure most of us have this ourselves or know somebody who gets queasy listening to ghost stories or covers their eyes during explicit scenes in horror movies. This phobia is ingrained in a lot of us from an early age. Through television shows dedicated to this topic, to the culture we're brought up in. America has Halloween, Mexico has the Day of the Dead, and so on. To which religion we follow. This phobia can be so gripping that phobics will not want to venture outside. Some refuse to sleep alone, or refusing to turn the lights off. Anticipatory anxiety is brought on by the fear of death and the unknown. A portion of our brain, known as the amygdala, secretes a chemical that triggers fear as a defense mechanism. When people are flooded with this response, it's either fight or flight. This phobia is popular on TV shows, in folklore, religion, and several superstitions from around the planet. Scientists believe it's a fear of our own deaths and things to come. This is a very interesting phobia and will deserve its own video in the future. Equinophobia, fear of horses. Name origin comes from equus, which is Latin for horses. Nearly 8% of the population suffers from zoophobias, which are the fear of animals in general. This phobia goes back a long way. The OG of psychology, Dr. Sigmund Freud, wrote a landmark paper on this phobia, entitled Little Hans. It explains the phobia, how it was developed in a young boy by watching a traumatic event involving a horse, and the boy's symptoms, which include being very afraid of the blinkers in front of the horse's eyes and the black region surrounding the horse's mouth. This phobia is more common in women than in men, but almost always relates to a traumatic event related to a horse. People who have been bucked off a horse or otherwise injured by one. Some experts believe zoophobias are genetic and can be passed down through the generations. The sheer size, aggressiveness, and muscle mass of these animals also scare many phobics. Horses and humans have worked together for centuries. Wars have been waged. Long distances have been covered, many heavy loads transported. For many people, there is a kinship with horses. However, if you suffer from equinophobia, this is not the case. Musophobia, fear of mice or rats. Name origin, mus, which is Latin for mice. Also associated is murophobia. This comes from murine or muridae family of mice and rats. And serophobia, which comes from scuros, which is French for mouse. Many people suffer from this phobia, and it is quite common. They do not find mice pleasing. To them, they are disgusting and fear they are disease carriers. This fear is not irrational, as rats and mice helped fuel the plague, brought death to millions. Also, images of them dwelling in sewers and other dark, dank, wet locations instill fear. They do carry pathogens and parasites, which can be harmful to us. Homeowners do not wish to see mice in their homes and go out of their way to capture them. Also, there's the fear of being surprised by these critters when they appear out of a crack or run across the floor. Being bit by one as a child can bring on the same response. Most of us are conditioned as young children to dislike rodents. Unfortunately, rodents are here to stay. We must learn to live with them, but for phobics, that's easier said than done. Catoptrophobia, fear of mirrors. Name origin. Catopto or catoptron is Greek for mirrors, associated with spectrophobia, which we discussed earlier, and isotrophobia. Eyes means into, and optikos means vision in Greek. Sometimes caring too much about our self-image can make us afraid of the mirror's reflective gaze, as if looking upon it, we notice we are not living up to the standard we have created. Popular reference to this is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where the mirror is asked who is the most beautiful of all. The other part of this fear is the supernatural ability related to mirrors. This fear goes back even before mirrors, when we would gaze upon a still body of water and believe it was our soul staring back at us. This brought on the notion of bad luck. A very popular superstition is if you break a mirror, you will receive 7 years bad luck. Many cultures have fear associated around reflection, it being related to your soul and it being destroyed. Some cultures avoid young children from looking at their mirror's reflection, or mirrors are kept veiled after a loved one passes. This phobia is tied in with many superstitions. Catotromancy, or mirror divination, was a type of magic practiced in the 17th century, where viewing a person's reflection would give you insight on their future. Scrying is also associated with mirrors. This is where a medium tries to focus attention and remove unwanted thoughts. Many movies hit on the idea of mirrors storing evil spirits, also the idea of vampires having no reflection because they have no soul. These concepts can shape our fear of mirrors. Alright phobia fans, thank you for watching today's video. Please keep watching this series to see when your phobia will make an appearance. Please hit the subscribe button and have a wonderful day. Thank you.